Welcome to the Porn Reboot YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be sharing 10 reasons why highly successful professionals find it very challenging to reach out for help with their sex porn or masturbation addiction. You should stay tuned if you're a highly respected or successful professional who has a little bit of hesitation when it comes to identifying that you have a problem with pornography and you don't really know who or how to reach out for help. Addiction and compulsive behavior can affect anyone, regardless of their socioeconomic background. Unfortunately, many highly successful individuals struggle with their addictions in silence, and they are unable to get help for many reasons. With the behaviors of several high-profile celebrities, media personalities, and executives dragged into the spotlight only to be judged by the court of public opinion, it is more imperative than ever for successful individuals who struggle with various sexual disorders, as well as those who are in their inner circle, to understand the reality of their circumstance. And after years of treating high-achieving executives and entrepreneurs who struggle with out-of-control sexual behaviors, I've put together 10 reasons why highly successful, even affluent individuals are unlikely to seek help for their out-of-control behaviors with pornography, sex, and masturbation. The first one is letting others down. Your success and wealth places you in a position of influence. You may be a mentor to some people, you may have family members who look up to you, and employees, partners, business associates who also look up to you for guidance and leadership. You also know that demonstrations of power, wealth, and leadership lead others to sometimes assume that you are a model for not just financial success, but also personal integrity as well. And your fear of letting down all these people can keep you from taking the responsibility of admitting that you have a serious problem and seeking help. This also ties in with entitlement. You may feel that you deserve everything you have, and maybe even more, including your current sexual life, as out of control as it might be. And a sense of entitlement can cause you to believe that it is impossible to have a problem with addiction. Now, others around you, whom you employ or who depend on you financially one way or the other, they might be reluctant to point out your self-destructive behavior, maybe for fear of losing your support or their jobs. And seeking help and recovery from your addiction will put you in contact with recovery professionals whose opinion is not influenced by your status or affluence. The second is, there is no rock bottom. Unfortunately, for a highly successful individual, there's rarely a rock bottom moment, such as, losing a spouse or losing your job or your home. An abundance of resources and a secure financial situation pretty much insulates you from these revealing experiences, and it makes it very difficult to realize that there is a serious problem affecting you. A good example would be the numerous sexual assault accusations which have been publicized in recent years. Like, we can talk about Bill Cosby, Harvey Weinstein, the list goes on, right? When there's a legitimate sexual addiction involved, it's not until a woman or someone else publicizes the behavior of an addict, usually a symptom of their compulsive behavior, that they actually experience rock bottom for the first time in their life. Even then, in many cases, the rock bottom effect, which exposes one potentially life-saving consequence, can really be reduced by well-deployed public relations or even legal action. And we see that happening a lot. The third is financial concerns. Now, if you're a highly successful individual who's facing a challenging financial transition, maybe in your business, an out-of-control sexual behavior does not help. You may have a tendency to dismiss treatment for your addiction because you feel that, this is a waste of time and resources compared to the financial emergency at hand. So for instance, some of my clients have dipped into their company expenses to finance their compulsion to hire sugar babies, high-end prostitutes. Others actually maintain the lifestyle of multiple mistresses, and they feel obligated to do so for fear of losing them. Again, sometimes this is against the advice of their accountants or their financial advisors. So you don't make the best financial decisions when compulsively chasing a sexual high, so when you're high on other substances. The reality is that your decisions made while under the influence of addiction lead to a worsening of any existing financial crises, and seeking support for your addiction can only help you. Next is fear of leaving work. So your position at work is important to you, and it's the ultimate validation of your achievements in many cases. To maintain this position and this identity, you may have the belief that you cannot take breaks or vacations. And if you do, you might jeopardize the success of your company or your position, which you've achieved through incredible amounts of hard work. When you struggle with a sexually compulsive disorder, your performance at work, it is adversely affected. This is inevitable, and the fear of losing your career can slowly build up. You might even be in a situation where you've started mixing drugs with your work and sex to enhance both the experience and to keep you working longer, more focused hours. And you feel that you can balance both work and your out of control sexual life by using drugs. That's a very, very dangerous position to be in. The fifth is an inability to identify with other addicts. Now, the common stereotype of addicts are these poorly dressed, homeless, disheveled people, that you see on the street. And popular culture, TV shows, and what you see on the streets on the way to work emphasize this. So your self-image as an individual who is in control, who dresses well, who has power, makes it very difficult to accept the reality that addiction can affect anyone. Sex and porn addiction is no different from a substance addiction. You are still addicted to chemicals, albeit the chemical cocktail is actually released in your brain when you expose yourself to pornographic material or you chase a sexual experience compulsively. Addiction can affect anyone, regardless of your net worth, regardless of your social status, your connections, or how high functioning you believe that you might be. The next is risk to your reputation. Now, no successful, wealthy, or affluent professional wants to risk their addiction affecting their reputation in any way. If there's even the slightest risk that there will be a legal record of your behavior, that fear will cause you to conceal your behavior even more. You might be doing that right now. However, it is precisely for this reason that you should seek professional help with your addictive behavior. The longer you wait to seek help, the higher the chances of legal repercussions and damage to your reputation. Next is sometimes it's hidden by other disorders. So what I mean is that a sexual addiction is sometimes hidden by an addiction to other substances such as painkillers, opioids, antidepressants, what have you. Often a highly successful individual might spend years dependent on prescription medication, which actually keeps you oblivious to other issues that you might struggle with. And also, a past history of trauma could also be obscured not only by the abuse of prescription medication and opioids, but also by false beliefs, right? Such as the belief that, I have a high sex drive, even though your sexual behavior may be causing adverse effects to your relationships, to your career, to your health, and of course, to your finances. The next is divorce and children, if you are married and have a family. It's no secret that the divorce rates among highly successful CEOs, business owners, executives, and other affluent individuals is quite high. And admitting to sex addiction can not only be a one-way ticket to divorce, but it can also put your successful persona at a serious disadvantage when it comes to things like custody of your children or even just public divorce proceedings. So this fear only serves to make you conceal your behavior even more. Of course, this is much to your detriment. In the meantime, you try your best to maintain this illusion of a perfect family. Next, we have rationalizing behavior. Okay, so when you're highly confident, this can cause you to rationalize your behavior, sometimes to extremes. And some common rationalizations I've heard from my clients are, hey man, I have sex with prostitutes because escorts, right? Because I'm too busy and I don't have time for relationships. Or I watch porn because it's the only way I can get an erection, man. That's the only way I can get an erection these days. Or, dude, that's how I de-stress from a busy day. Or, bro, listen, I only do these things when I'm on the road or when I'm on a business trip, right? And for my clients who mix substances with their out of control sexual behavior, I'll hear variations of the same bullshit, right? My doctor prescribed this medication, that's why I take it. Drinking helps me deal with stress. Sex is so much better on ... whatever your poison is. And I can still go to work the next day, right? So the dark side of great confidence is great rationalization for your addictive behavior. And the final reason why it's challenging for successful individuals to seek help is the stigma of addiction. So sex and porn addiction comes with the stigma of weakness, of failure, and poor judgments. And these are not typically qualities which are associated with successful, highly performing, or rather highly functioning individuals. If you're a celebrity in your industry, for instance, or if you're highly visible, the stigma of such an addiction can make it very difficult to become vulnerable and honestly seek help. I think that's 10 of them right there. So those are 10 reasons why it's challenging for highly successful individuals to reach out for help. And here at Elevated Recovery, using the Porn Reboot system, we typically work with high-performing, successful individuals who need discretion, who need individuals and coaches who will call them out on their bullshit and who actually understand your position and the fears that you're dealing with. So whenever you're ready, feel free to reach out to us and speak to our Reboot strategist to see if you're a good fit for one of our programs. And one of the best ways to actually start is by joining our private and confidential Facebook group. There's a link to join in the description below this video. I'm JK, your brother in this struggle. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video, and I'll see you later on in the week.